All right, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear me all right. So, thank you so much for joining us today for the next episode of Mecca Kitchen. With me, I have Coach April over on this side.
Hi,
Today, we're
everyone.
going to be making a Buddha bowl, which is a relatively healthy, or it's a very healthy vegetarian dinner idea. I'm going to add some chicken in it, but you can totally omit that. And I'm also going to be switching up some of the ingredients just based on personal preferences. So what you're going to need here, you're going to need brown rice, broccoli, sweet potatoes, olive oil, sea salt, paprika, black pepper, garlic powder, frozen edamame, purple cabbage, and tahini sauce. So for myself, I'm not going to include the edamame and the purple cabbage. Instead of the cabbage, I'm going to have spinach. I also don't necessarily have the ingredients for tahini sauce. And like I mentioned, I'm going to be substituting in, well, not substituting in, but adding in chicken. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing we want to do is preheat our oven to 350 because that's going to take a while to get up to temperature.
I was also going to say, just to add in, Misha, the edamame is the protein in this dish, or the main source of protein, and the tahini. So, like you said, you are substituting the chicken in for your protein. And this dish is vegan, so some vegetarians will eat eggs and will eat some animal like honey and other things, but this dish is completely vegan as well. So for those who are vegetarian and or vegan, this would be a perfect dish for you to make to get all of your macros, your carbs, proteins, and fats. Yeah, we could totally hear you.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully that should be good. Okay, perfect. Hopefully that should be okay.
Misha is the cook and the tech and the producer.
Yeah. Figuring out stuff live as we're going. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is let me see, there you go. Cutting up the sweet potato. I'm going to cut into relatively small pieces. So because this is going for the oven, I already did wash this because it was cut previously for another dish. So typically you want to make sure you wash your sweet potato.
You could, after you roast it, peel the skin off, or peel the skin off ahead of time, or you don't mind the taste of the peel.
Yeah, I definitely don't mind it, so I'm just gonna have it with it. But yeah, I hear there's also good fiber, right? Is that fiber I'm thinking of, or something else in the skin?
Well, the skin is purple, and sweet potatoes themselves have like amazing fiber, but there's definitely some nutrients in purple veggies. And so while you're chopping and cutting, I'm gonna just confirm what I'm thinking before I tell you guys this. Yep, they are rich in fiber and antioxidants, and they support gut health.
There you go, perfect.
And that's why you want lots of colors in your vegetables, because usually the more colorful they are, the more nutrients and minerals and vitamins they have. By cutting them up so small, they should cook a little quicker.
Exactly. You could definitely have larger pieces if you want, but for myself, I prefer smaller pieces anyways. And yeah, it will definitely help cook along a little bit faster. is throw them in a bowl, and I'm going to season them with all of our seasoning, which I'll grab in a moment. So I have my salt and pepper right here. If we go back to the ingredients list, we're also going to need paprika and garlic powder.
Yum. Already making me hungry.
And olive oil, finally. So I'm just going to drizzle with olive oil. Make sure that all gets covered. I typically like to put the olive oil on top first, mix it around, just so the seasonings stick a little bit better and it's all homogeneous instead of just having clumps of seasonings on certain pieces.
Olive oil is a great plant-based fat. Which fat is good for you in moderation.
You could really go by just kind of taste for this. I'm not going to necessarily measure this out. Just a few cracks of that.
And I definitely season according to how I'm feeling and what flavors I want to have. Using seasonings is a great way to be creative with cooking.
Definitely. Instead of just having the same like chicken, broccoli, rice monotony, you could add in a bunch of different flavors. Like I have these three. I really like these Traeger rubs. This one's garlic and chili pepper. This one's apple and honey. This one's a veggie rub with garlic and paprika, which is exactly what we're actually having. So I could have put that probably on, but
next time we cook, we could make something with that.
Definitely. And I know they have them on Amazon, and they're not that expensive or anything. Give that a quick mix. This is going to go in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. And again, it really kind of depends on how large your pieces are. If you turn up the heat a little bit more, it might be a little bit, it might take a little bit less time. I'm just gonna grab this sheet pan with some foil. Well, there we go. Oops. Mix that around, give everything enough room to breathe, then I'll throw that in.
What temperature are you putting that at, Misha?
Sorry?
Which temperature are you going to place that on?
350, so it's gonna be 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes. I think I'm on to like 375, but roughly 350. And what I think I'm gonna do is in the last few minutes, I'm gonna put it on the broil on top just to get a little bit crispy there. Not super intense, but just a little bit. Awesome. So next up, what we're going to do is prepare the brown rice as well as the broccoli and spinach. So what I like to use for, for brown rice is the Trader Joe's I guess already cooked brown rice. They come in these packs. Their organic ones are a little bit in a different bag, but basically you throw this in the microwave for, I believe, 3 minutes and it's already pretty much done. So I just need to make a little hole here.
Yeah, and those are so good and so convenient. I've purchased those in the past and they're super yummy. For those who are working full time and you have families and you're busy, you know, you're in school, whatnot, it's such a great way to get your brown rice in. Another option is if you have an Instapot, which we used at our last cooking show. Well, I used one with the air fryer. You can make brown rice ahead of time in your Instapot, and it usually will cook in about 15 minutes or so, and just keep it stored in the refrigerator.
Definitely an Instapot, or even just cooking it like on the stovetop in like a pot or something. I don't have the patience for that, and I don't have an Instapot, so that's just me. But you could definitely do that, and you'll just have to go per the instructions on your box.
Yeah, rice is usually a 2-to-1 ratio. So usually 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water in a pot on the stove, especially with brown rice. You need a little more water than you do with white rice.
Awesome. So let me see. You know what? I think I'm actually going to go with beef today. So what I'm going to do then is I have my broccoli right here. I have about 6 ounces here. So I'm going to cut this up into smaller pieces, as well as the spinach. And then I'll just put that in its own bowl here.
And you're using the spinach in lieu of the cabbage?
Yes, the spinach instead of the cabbage. So for the broccoli,
and you notice Misha got broccoli flowerette, so that's just the uppermost part of the broccoli. If you buy a whole stalk of broccoli, you could cut the flowerette off, or you could just cut the most fibrous part of the bottom part of the broccoli. It's usually the most fibrous part. Cut that off, and then you could chop up your broccoli in bits like Misha's doing now.
Definitely. If you had like a, you could probably eat like the stalk, but you could also give it to your pets if you really didn't want to eat that part of it. This will also just help make cooking the broccoli just a little bit easier. Awesome, there's that. For the spinach, I'm going to grab a smaller separate bowl just because spinach cooks pretty quickly and it really wilts down a lot. So I'm going to add that in a little bit later.
Yeah, it definitely won't require as much cooking time as the purple broccoli. You could even consider, if you slice it thin enough and all your other ingredients are hot, you could even put the spinach in just raw. Never probably wilt too.
Definitely. That'll add a little bit more crunch to it, and a little bit more texture. And I believe spinach is full of iron. I believe that's one thing that's pretty high in.
Yeah.
Yeah, vitamin, or no, a little bit of calcium, potassium too.
So yeah, it has almost a gram of iron. It has magnesium. It has a lot of magnesium and a lot of potassium. You think about 1 cup of spinach. First of all, one thing we talk about a lot when we do our nutrition coaching, eat a ton of vegetables because you can get so full on vegetables and hardly gain anything. So 1 cup of spinach is 7 calories. And you almost get a gram of protein, you get calcium, almost a gram of iron, but 24 milligrams of magnesium, 167 milligrams of potassium, and it has folate. So spinach is your friend.
There you go. Definitely a whole lot of benefits from there. Let me see. From here, I'm going to prepare my beef.
And if you were using purple cabbage, you would get a lot of nutrients too, 28 calories in a cup, but vitamin A and C, a lot of fiber, and vitamin K and B6. So this is going to be loaded with some nutrients from your broccoli, your Brussels sprout, your broccoli, your spinach, and your sweet potatoes.
There you go. I can definitely already smell the sweet potato in the oven.
I bet it smells good. We need smell-o-vision.
Yeah.
So remember, Misha's using beef as his protein source. So the Buddha bowl, which is, when you look at our recipe site, is vegan. You can use the edamame as your protein source. But you can also see, and this is a great way to show you that you could take any recipe and make it your own. So, you know, if you have the ingredients in your house and you don't have some other ingredients, you just find what you have and you can make it work, and it'll still be pretty tasty.
Had to wash my hands there, but definitely you could also add a bunch more veggies like asparagus. You can grab red onion, bell pepper. So a whole lot of different stuff that you could add to customize it. And you could really use some like extra veggies that maybe you didn't use in last night's dinner.
Mm-hmm. So we talk a lot about protein, because what we find with the majority of our clients, and when I say the majority, I would probably say 80 to 90% are just not eating enough protein, myself included. I constantly have to make a conscientious effort to eat protein. And an American diet is truly more carb heavy. So with the Buddha bowl, if we were just sticking with the edamame, you would get about 17 grams of protein if you have almost a cup of edamame in there. With the beef, he's getting 26 grams of protein, more or less. So animal proteins are more complete proteins. With plants, you really have to mix your foods in order to get a complete protein. So if you were having the Buddha bowl without the meat, know that you would have a complete protein because you would have the rice with the edamame and then the other vegetables. The combination of all of that makes that a complete protein. Animal proteins are usually more complete proteins, and all are good.
April, you're still able to hear me?
Yep, I can hear you right now.
Oh, hold on one sec here. All right, can you hear me
Yep,
right
we
now?
can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Do a little bit more tech support there, so hopefully that works. All right, awesome. So what I have here is I have a pan heating up with a little bit of olive oil, which I'm going to throw the broccoli in a moment, and I have a separate pan here for the beef. So hopefully this isn't too loud. I'm also actually going to use that veggie rub on the broccoli. Just add a little bit of seasoning. If I can get the top off.
That's a good idea.
Not a whole lot, because again, the sweet potato is already pretty seasoned, but yeah. There we go.
Oh, I like the way you're flipping that broccoli there. You're looking like an official chef, Misha.
I definitely practice. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to pour a little bit of water into here and then cover it with the lid to let it steam to just soften up the broccoli. So otherwise it's going to take a really long time for it to cook through. So find my lid. Oh.
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Just your nameplate right there, but
yeah, no, I put my video off. I had to get my water.
There you go. What would be some good beverages to accompany this meal with?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, water. As you guys notice, I have my big 33-ounce ball jar. And if we're talking, right, you can flavor your water, maybe put some lemon in the water. Some sparkling water would be good, like a LaCroix. I have some Izzy's that I purchased that give a little sweet punch. And if you are indulging, you could have a little light wine spritzer. But I definitely would go on a light drink instead of a dark or a heavier drink with this. What do you usually drink with your meals, Misha?
I usually drink Zevia, just because I like soda and stuff like that. But I never really had any growing up. My parents were, I guess, kind to me by not letting me have really soda when I was younger.
Yeah.
But now that I'm older, I have basically like a Zevia a day, usually with my dinners.
And Zevias are a good alternative to any type of soda, because it's a natural base. It's carbonated, which is okay as long as you don't drink a lot of carbonation. But they have flavors that are really good. It's all natural, and it's just basically kind of sparkling water with flavor in it, but a little more flavor than a regular sparkling water. And they're non-GMO, no artificial colors, no phosphoric acid. So yeah, I think Zevia is a good choice as well.
Definitely. What would you drink alongside this?
So I would drink water because I'm usually a water girl, or I would drink, if it's a Friday night and I want wine, I would have a white wine or a wine spritzer to make up some of the calories fat. But that's usually me. I'm a water drinker.
Yeah, I always drink water alongside pretty much any meal. But yeah.
I haven't personally drank soda in a really, 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 really long time. And carbonated drinks, I don't drink a lot of either. But if somebody's making a transition from drinking a lot of sodas, and you're used to drinking carbonated drinks, I would definitely suggest drinking like a Bai or a Zevia or
Oh,
LaCroix.
buys are pretty good. They're
Yeah.
not the greatest, but they taste pretty good once
Yeah.
in a while.
Yeah. And then a tea, like you could drink like an iced tea. If you make it yourself, it doesn't usually have as much sugar in it.
Yeah, no, Zevia has a lot of different. They have this really good blood orange. I think it's a black tea. That one is pretty good. It has like roughly the same properties as their as a standard Zevia soda. So not a whole lot of added sugars and relatively healthy and stuff like that.
Yeah, that sounds super yummy.
I know that recently also. Speaking of drinks, we recently got a new product in at the Mecca Fuel Bar. Those little juices. Can you speak to those at all?
Ooh,
Do you have any background on that?
Yeah, so we just started selling, buying wholesale from Pittsburgh Juice Company, which is local woman-owned company, and we're really excited about that. But they make fresh pressed juices, cold pressed juices, so all natural, and just really, really good juices with lots of different flavors. And you can drink a juice just by itself. You can drink a juice, like if you're having, I don't know, like they're pretty dense. We're selling the 8-ounce little bottles of them, and they're really good. That's really all you need is a little 8-ounce bottle of juice. The juices are organic. And cold press means that they're pressing it and you're trying to have as little oxidation of the juice as possible. And they're not just juices, like there's coconut water, there's a berry watermelon juice, there are vegetable juices, there are fruit-based juices, and they give you all the nutrients you need from the fruits and vegetables that you might not be eating. The only difference is, like we talked about fiber today, when you cold press a juice, there's no fiber in it. So it's still important to eat your fruit and vegetables, but you get all the nutrients, enzymes from these juices that you would get if you were just eating it. Really low sugar, and its sugars are all natural. So it's a good supplement to eating.
Awesome, definitely, yeah. And that's like the problem with a lot of orange juices is that they pretty much take out everything that's good about oranges. Like they might have like a ton of vitamin C, but like they lose a lot of the fiber, which comes in like the pulp. So I don't mind the pulp in the first place.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely if you drink orange juice, it's better to drink it with the pulp just to retain some of that.
Yeah.
That benefits.
And then with the orange juice, you want like a natural pressed juice, just like with the apple juice. Because you'll be surprised if you look like on a carton of juice that you were to buy in a store, like a regular grocery store, they add sugar to it, or they add high fructose corn syrup, which your body absorbs super fast, and usually will just go to fat. So you want to really be aware of looking at labels for quote natural foods and natural juices, because you'd be surprised at how many additives are in those natural juices. So like with the juice company, Pittsburgh Juice, I'm an ambassador for Clean Juice. Those are just all natural juices with all natural sugars. And you can go to the store and find juices that don't have high fructose corn syrup or additional sugars added in. How's everything looking over there?
Awesome. Everything's looking really good.
I like Misha's kitchen setup. You look like Misha is like real deal cooking, you guys. Like the seasonings out, cabinets open. Like this is the real deal. All what we look like every day when we're cooking.
Yeah. Let me see.
It's kind of upside down.
There we go. That should be a little bit better.
There we go. Yeah. So he has his beef, his broccoli, and his spinach. You can smell your potatoes.
And rice in there. Yeah, I need to see some. I'm gonna snap my fingers in a second. You should tell me if you can hear me.
Yep, totally hear you.
Oh wait. Oh, you hear that snapping?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Okay. I think that isn't working actually. I'll figure it out.
This is also a recipe that can be, you can make it in bulk, like you can double the recipe and save some for the next day, make a few meals out of it as well.
So my rice is ready in the oven. Or ready in the microwave. So I'm just gonna separate it out. I'm gonna use about 1 cup. If you're trying to go maybe a little bit lower carb, you could definitely use less. And you could also most likely use white rice. You want to go ahead and explain some of the differences between brown rice and white rice, April?
Yeah, either one would definitely be okay. Brown rice tends to have more fiber, but you notice like a lot of people use white rice. It has a lot of energy. Brown rice has 82 calories. If we're talking like a cup, 82 calories versus 68 calories. There's a little more protein in brown rice, like 1.8 grams compared to white rice. This is 1.4 grams. Brown rice has good fat, and brown rice is more dense. And so it's more dense because it has the husk. It has white rice, all of that has been stripped away. So it kind of takes away the crunchiness, like I shouldn't say crunch, we were talking about rice, but it's milled so it looks white and like the hull and everything is taken off. So it's just more processed, and it's not bad, because especially in America, and white rice is enriched, so they've added some nutrients and vitamins to it, so it's increased its nutritional value. Brown rice is a more dense rice. It's also very, very good for you as well. And because it has more fiber, you know, when we talk about macros and counting macros, when people are doing that, you look at fiber. Fiber kind of decreases your carbs, and I can explain all that later. But it's super nutritious, and rice has B1. I mean, brown rice has B1, B3, and B6. And you know, your B vitamins give you a lot of energy.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of different benefits to both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rice is your friend, you guys. It's not your enemy. Just moderation. And for those people who are really looking to make gains, and if you're really in a super active lifestyle, you probably would want to increase your carbs. Vegetables, this is a good dish where you can see you have brown rice as a carb, broccoli's a carb, sweet potatoes are a carb. Olive oil is your fat. You have all your seasonings, which are just like those are freebies for you when you're eating. And like we said before, his spinach is a carb and his beef is a protein.
Awesome. Yeah, I really had to up my carb intake just for the amount of training I'm doing. One dish that I really enjoy making, I was actually inspired by, was it BJ's Brew House? They had this it was this quinoa bowl.
That's so good.
Yeah, exactly what it is. Let me find a photo. So it was really good. And I made it on my prior cooking streams. That had salmon on it.
That sounds good too.
I think it was Enlightened Power Bowls. What was they called, I think? No, maybe not. No, I don't think so. I'll find it in a bit. In the meantime, it's coming along very well. Let's see if I go back to over here. You can kind of barely see it. I'm actually also just going to throw
in rice. Done. Oh, everything looks pretty good.
I still have about another 10-ish minutes left on the sweet potatoes. Gonna mix everything around. This rice is a little bit sticky, so I probably should add like a little bit of water to break it up, but that's all right.
Well, most rice in like an Asian dishes are sticky, and like you're mixing it up, or people can layer it in a bowl if they want. So it gives you different options.
Yeah, definitely. Separate it out. You can also probably use, I do have a wok here. I probably should have used that, but that's no big deal. If you want to add a little bit more flavor, you could add in potentially a little bit of low sodium soy sauce and a tiny bit of sesame oil as well. I found to like those flavors a good bit.
And that's where the tahini would come in, because the tahini definitely has the flavor.
I believe it actually does have soy sauce in it now that you mention it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and check the temperature of this beef. That's looking good there.
Misha's so good. You're checking the temperature. I'm an old school cook. I just go for it.
I'm always pretty paranoid about undercooking it, so I'd much rather, even though it's not great, I'd much rather overcook it than undercook it.
So you like your meat well done?
No, I'm more like medium. It's just I'm not great at judging temperature. So that's just a me thing.
If somebody doesn't have a thermometer, I think I'd have to look it up, but I think there's certain parts of your body that you can press. And
I once heard the finger technique. So basically, if you press, if you hold your hand like this with the first finger and you press on the fatty part of your, I guess not the fatty part, but like on your thumb right here, that's I think rare.
Yeah.
That's medium rare or something.
Oh yeah.
That is like this.
There you go. Exactly.
I forget what it corresponds to, so I definitely look that up before you trust that.
No, you're right.
And
okay. This would
I just get a thermometer just to be sure, but
yeah.
But yeah, something like that. Like well done, maybe.
This is well. The third finger as well.
Yeah.
Your first finger is definitely rare. Maybe your second is kind of medium rare. Your second is well done. And definitely super duper well done.
I know my dad, whenever I was a lot younger, my dad would only order like well done for me, but at this point I don't think he cared. I think he was just trying to be careful as I was younger and stuff, but he doesn't really care at this point whenever we go. So I'm just gonna let that beef rest for a little bit because it is gonna keep cooking for a while. And then I'm gonna cut it up kind of right before the sweet potatoes are done. And then I'm gonna throw the sweet potatoes in there, mix everything around, and then I'll be good to go after that.
And add your spinach and be done deal.
I really want to find this one recipe. Where is it?
So this was really fun. I'll have to get off in 5 minutes or so because I'm teaching a yoga class online.
Yeah, do you want to shout that out?
Yeah, Mondays at 6 o'clock. There are a couple of things. So you guys know I'm a nutrition coach and director of wellness at Mecca Fitness and Nutrition. So you'll catch me at the Strip on Tuesdays and some other days to teach yoga. And then we'll also support another local studio, South Hills Power Yoga, which is right down the street from us. 6 o'clock Wednesday evenings, I teach yoga there virtually now. We're doing everything virtually, except on Tuesdays. And I think we're doing Wednesdays too at the Strip, in-person classes. So socially distanced, mask on, and there's a sign up kind of wait list for this. But yeah, if anybody wants to try the class, hit me up, ajackson@meccafitness.com, or you could send me a DM at Coach April PJ on Instagram, and I can invite you to some of my classes.
Awesome.
Misha's already done cooking, you guys. Look, see?
Almost, pretty much done.
And like I said, and he has enough rice. He probably has enough to really get himself situated for dinner and probably lunch tomorrow or dinner again.
I'll definitely be eating all of this, but
yeah, because he's been cooking a lot.
So I'm just gonna throw it on the broiler for the last few minutes here. I'm gonna go ahead and, I guess, cube it. Maybe, I don't know if cubing it would be whatever that's called. There we go. I'd say that's a nice medium. Definitely not rare, but
I was thinking when we talk about the plate method, which is one way to gauge how you are combining a balanced meal. Your protein is like the size of your palm, your protein portion. If you're making gains, yeah, and I was just thinking that works. Yeah. You can also even have 2 palm sizes for men when you're working to make your gains. Your veggies would be 2 palms, which we definitely have 2 palms worth of veggies. And your carb would be the outer, when you ball your hand into a fist and you flip it over, it would be a fist size of your carb. And would prefer a complex carb, which brown rice is a complex carbohydrate, where white rice isn't complex because, like I said, they processed it and they removed most of the fiber from the rice. So we have a really well-balanced meal.
Definitely, and these potatoes are just about done here. There's my timer.
Ooh, we're here in Pittsburgh and it's starting to rain.
Oh, geez. All right, so I'm just gonna throw this in with the rest of my ingredients.
Ooh, look at those potatoes. How are they?
That's good. Definitely not too firm. I think I would like them to crisp up a little bit more, but that's not really an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, and I will go ahead and print that. Awesome, there we go. Can't actually see
That looks super
too
good.
well with the lights, but
That looks, when we talk about nutritiously dense, that meal is a great nutritiously dense meal. You have everything and it looks so filling.
bunch of cables in here.
Ooh, look at all that steam. It looks so yummy. Misha, can you just feed all of us?
Yeah. You gotta start making our own meal delivery.
That could be next, guys. That could be next.
Awesome.
Misha, this is our second cooking show together.
I guess third, potentially.
Oh, third, because we made our Super Bowl Sunday wings.
There we go. And hopefully we'll be adding a new one pretty soon.
Yes.